Alright guys, now I'm getting ready to prep the garden for getting ready for planting in the spring, even though it's winter still. So I'm going to get back on the tractor. Got to hook on to a couple of implements today and then a few more later. So I'll show you what I'm doing. Today I'm going to hook onto the tiller just so I can chop up the tomato plants, and so they're not too big when I plow, otherwise the plows just drag them. Once I'm done tilling, come back, drop it off, hook onto the plows. I'll plow the garden, let that sit for a little while, depending on how moist the soil is, before I can disc it. So I'll drop off the plows, and another day I'll come back and hook onto the disc the soil. What that does, it chops up the clods, and then when that's done, then I come back and hook onto the tiller, and I'll rototill it up good, make it a fine soil for the seed bed for the tomatoes to go in. So I already checked the tractor. It's got fuel, it's got oil, but I need to put some coolant in. It's a little bit low. And then I'll be on my way. Alright, we're back at my place to dump these off. Now I'll get rid of the tiller and hook up on the plow. Up. Gotta hook your hydraulics up. We are ready to rock and roll. Lift it. Alright guys, now that we're here back at the garden with the plows on the tractor, let me first explain the plows for those of you that don't know. This particular kind, you've got the plows on the bottom, and then you've got these plows on the top, and this is a rollover plow, and the way it works is these hydraulic lines I can control with a lever, and I can flip these over. So I can choose which direction I want to fold the soil, either to the right, which is how it's placed now, or by flipping them. Once this is rotated, they'll now be plowing to the left. Why does that matter? Well, let's say you want to go, you've got a big field, rather than in the old days when you had like a Ford 8N tractor or a 9N tractor and you had a single plow. You had to go plowing uphill, decide where you wanted to come down, so you're folding the soil over, come back down somewhere else, folding the soil over that way on your way down, and then come back over, fold the soil over the same direction until you get to the middle where you meet, and then you have what's called a dead furrow, and that's simply a trench that you've pulled that soil out, but you haven't put any soil back in, so that's called a dead furrow. This rollover plow prevents you from having a dead furrow. So I can go up, plowing uphill, roll my plows over, come back downhill, roll my plows over again, go back uphill, and just keep doing that. This is such a short run that I'm not going to do that. I'm going to plow uphill, and I want to explain why. Is because if I kept plowing downhill, what I'm doing over time is I'm pulling the soil downhill, and I end up having a low spot up there and a high spot down here, and then I end up having to get an implement and drag the soil back uphill to fill in up there and level it out. So I'm going to be plowing uphill. That's a higher slope up there than it is down here. And so that's the reason why I'm going to go in one direction and I'm going to go that way. Now, the other thing is, last year I when I plowed, I turned the soil in a certain direction. This year, I want to turn the soil in an opposite direction. So let me explain that. So how I can tell is right here it's lower. So that tells me that last year I started at that end, folded the soil over until I got here, and this was my last row, and I folded it, and so that left this low. And I left a high spot over there where the soil got turned over onto bare ground, and so that left one little row of a high spot. So this year what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here, and I'm going to fold the soil this way to fill in this low spot. And when I get to that end, it'll kind of even out, but the plows won't be able to reach all the way over there to grab what soil was folded last year to fill it in, but the disc will take care of that. So that's what we got going on. So I'll mount this camera so you can see me do a few rows, watching the plows go down, and I'll figure out which direction I need to turn them, and then I'll move the camera out there so you can see me plowing the whole thing. Okay, put it low gear. Okay, so I got it all done, and that'll finish up the day. I can't do anything more because The soil needs to be left alone because of the moisture in it. If I were to disc it today, it would just stick to the disc and clod up, and it wouldn't do a whole lot. So once you turn the soil over and get the moisture up, you got to let it dry out a little bit. I don't know if you saw, but there was a huge rock in there, a couple of them, and you can see right up there, there's a pile of rocks. Every time I plow and I hook a rock and pull it up to the surface, I dump them over there, and then I'll haul them off again later. But there used to be an old rock house right here that my dad was born in, and when he built this house, he demolished the old rock house, and so there's still remnants of the rocks in the ground still that I plow up, eventually making a pile once in a while. So anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to our channel, since we're growing from nothing. The more people we get watching and the more subscribers, it helps us, and we'd like to see this become popular. Hopefully this is fun for people to watch and learn from, and you get to see everything that we do. It goes into making the vegetables and the fruits that we sell out of our produce stand. All of the years-long work that goes into it. So it's non-stop, continual. Anyway, thank you for watching.